Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps, it is I, your host with the most Renaissance man who always thinks he can, and champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back in the yard of streams for another edition of the Raw Rewind, presented to you by Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show, where we take no nights off, and you can't have the Raw Rewind without the best of the West. You can't forget about Sara Marshall. What's poppin', bro?
Hey, yo.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
How we doing on this fine Tuesday?
Fine. You know.
You're doing as fine as this fine Tuesday. I agree. I'm taking it easy. As you can see, we got the pillow. I have my little I got my blanket here. So I do this thing in the winter or just whatever where I call it the blanket scarf, and you're gonna get a little demonstration here. So what I do, and the peeps can take this at home. This is kind of what I'm trying to do. So see what I do with the blanket here. Is see how it goes around me like a scarf? So like kind of fashionable, whatever. But here's the thing. This is where we get cozy. It's an arm. So you put your arms in the middle of it, and then boom. You're warm. You're warm. You know what I mean?
I would just cover my entire self in my blanket.
Well,
and have it like a cape.
Well, I like the cape element. I'm not like Edna Mode. I like capes. So,
All right.
yeah, you know what? That's how I'm feeling right now. It's just a stressful day. And I'm not going to lie, Sarah. When I have stressful days, the best thing that I do is come home, watch some wrestling. Luckily, I had the chance to rewatch Raw last night because, listen, we did not fall asleep until the main event.
Well, that's pretty good.
And the people are like, well, why are you falling asleep during the main event? Wasn't it a good match? It was. It was a fantastic match.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get up at 4 a.m. like me.
Yeah.
And the fact that I made it that far and only nodded off and then woke up a little bit to see the ending of it, I'm not going to lie. It kind of put me in a good mood, got me to come back home today and watch it and finally know what the hell happened. Because, it was, I'm not going to lie, Sarah, I enjoyed this Raw.
Mm-hmm.
I really did. And I don't mean it just in the sense of, this show in itself. The product, like you can see now that they're actually trying to push things along. And it seems like they are getting you amped and getting you ready, foreshadowing a little bit of Survivor Series, and Fastlane's just the appetizer of it.
Yes, yeah. I have issues with a lot of what they're doing.
Well, you have issues. I have compliments.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like together we talk about those, and it's a show. So let's kick off the show. Wow, segues are weird.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah, you just go because.
All right, so the show started off with absolute chaos. Apparently we were supposed to see Nia Jax versus Shayna. I don't know who wanted to see that, but apparently that was what was supposed to happen. But they were going at it with security trying to break them up. And then it just progressively got worse. Then Raquel comes out in a top that I have no idea how that stayed on her as she was brawling. I was waiting for it to just like come undone because I was like, girl, who told you this was a good idea? But whatever they did to keep it on, it worked. But I was very nervous for her because I was like, it's literally being held together by a string. Like
spaghetti straps.
It
for
was
sure
crazy. Then she comes in to beat up Nia too, but then they're all going after each other. And they kept pushing that Raquel had been dealing with whiplash, which I'm like, I wonder if she really was, because I'm telling you, it did not look good when Nia hit her with that Samoan drop or whatever. And then Rhea comes out to a loud ovation because and security comes out. They all get out of the ring, and then Rhea is like, nope, it's my time. It is my turn. So apparently the match is not happening.
No,
which
didn't happen.
which is just kind of funny because I'm like, no one was like severely injured or anything. Like they could have had it happen, but whatever.
They're
And
dealing minor injuries. I think it was
yeah, I don't know.
reported.
So we finally have mommy back, but she is not happy with the Judgment Day and calls them out to the ring. But they were sans Finn, which I was like, where's Finn? Where's Finn? Why is he missing again?
He was. Mommy let us know that he was hurt during the brawl.
It's just rude.
Which Damian Priest was not cleared last night.
Mm-hmm.
Finn wasn't there. Apparently, why the match didn't happen between Nia and Shayna was because that Shayna was dealing with something as well.
Oh.
And a little tangent here, but I was thinking about this. Do you think that these injuries, when they're not medically cleared, it's not a serious injury, but they're holding them off because they don't, I don't know, you kind of want to put this delicately, but they don't want to overuse them and they can find other talent that needs to be pushed. Like, for instance, Damian Priest doesn't need to wrestle last night. He did not need to be on the card, but he needs to be on the show in some capacity. So having him do that, kicking off the show, little whatever they had to start it. It's not the end of the world because it allows for time for other people, like Bronson Reed and Cedric Alexander, or
I don't
I'm using a extreme example, but to me, I don't see it as a big deal that they're not medically cleared. I just believe that it's WWE being a little bit more cautious.
I kind of feel like it's not all real. I think some of it's storyline. I don't think that all.
That's kind of what I'm alluding to too.
Yeah, I don't think it's all. I don't think it's all actual injuries. Sorry, I was trying to turn my fan and it just made a weird noise. It scared me.
Ooh.
But yeah, because I feel like they don't disclose that with other people. Like, Seth hasn't wrestled in who knows how long on television, but they're not like, oh, he's not medically cleared. It's like, it's just kind of what we've gotten used to now.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels like if the fact that they're pointing it out about these people, it feels more like, okay, it's storyline, as opposed to Becky wasn't medically cleared. Yeah, well, her arm was disgusting. So it's like
that looked like a summer squash coming out of her arm.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, yeah, she's not medically cleared, sure, but like these other people, we don't know exactly what's wrong, so it feels more of like, oh, it just goes with the storyline, it just makes sense, blah blah blah. But I don't know.
And KO and Sammy weren't there last night. Are they not medically cleared? Are they just taking the night off? They're questions that we're asking.
Yeah. So Judgment Day comes out, like I said, minus Finn, and Dom comes out wearing mommy's title, which apparently people thought that was hilarious, but I
thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah, so she just immediately rips into Damian Priest because she was like, I was gone for a couple weeks. I put you in charge and look at what happened. There's just a hot mess going on. You couldn't take care of it. You didn't protect Dom when he was defending his championship at No Mercy. She says that she's disappointed, whatever. Damian then gets on the mic and I'm just like, bae. And he says that he is aware of everything that she is saying and says, you know what? A lot of that is true. Like, I'm not going to argue with you. But he said, at the end of the day, I still have my titles. I still have my Money in the Bank briefcase. But mommy, where's Dom's titles? And I was like, oh man.
This was rough. This was throwing your brother under the bus.
I know, and you could tell Dom was like immediately like, are you kidding me, bro? Are you
kidding
me?
Right now? We're gonna do this.
Did you have to do this? So she's like, I'm your mommy, right? And that means you're my poppy. And I was like, ew. And
that was kind of weird. I'm all for it, but
yeah,
it was
funny. So she tells him that he will have a rematch on NXT for the North American Championship against Trick Williams. Courtesy of her, she made it happen. But she does give him an ultimatum. She says, if you do not come home with that NXT North American title, then don't bother coming home at all. And I was like, don't do this right now. Don't do this. But okay, so before getting into that, I don't know if you saw, but Fightful is reporting that Mustafa Ali was supposed to win the NXT North American Championship had he not been released. So it makes it be like, okay, they didn't have long-term plans for Trick Williams, right? So could he lose the title technically tonight? That's when we're recording this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's possible because he wasn't the original plan. But if we know anything, it seems like no, they're not having Dom win the title back. And so then I'm like, but then what happens? Then I don't want to see Dom and Rhea have these problems. I don't want to see it.
Do you want to see that? You just made a noise.
Yeah, I was like,
disgust.
No, it wasn't disgust. I was like, oh, like I hadn't even thought of that.
Oh, I'm disgusted. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Why can't we all come together?
Yeah, no, I think Dom is like an essential part of Judgment Day because he's so opposite of the rest of them. And I feel like it would be interesting, you know, if at some point Rhea did decide to like pick another man over Dom, you know, like I understand like why that would be an interesting storyline to watch, but I don't know that JD McDonough is that guy. Like he's not the type that would be manipulated by a woman. You know, he doesn't need to be like represented by a woman. He doesn't need to hide behind Rhea because, you know, she gets the job done and he can't. Like his whole thing is that he's like an Irish fighter, like blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Dominic is like the little boy who has daddy issues. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't think that would work, but
I believe JD McDonough is more in the group as a wild card than to be the next in line for Dom. Like maybe you could do some internal conflict where because JD's doing so much for Judgment Day and keeping them on their win streak and whatnot, and Dom's a little bit, you know, skidding downhill a bit. Mm-hmm. Maybe if you do a little bit of a tease with Mommy and JD, but JD can't buy into it. That's the big thing. If you can't have JD buy into it, and at the end of the day, it needs to culminate in Judgment Day being stronger.
I think it's almost like it could be more of like what Lashley did with the Street Profits. Like threaten to leave, threaten to kick you out, whatever, just to get you to do what they want. But I think that I don't know. I assume we're not going to know. So, you know, for an hour or 2 hours or whatever, but I assume that Dom is not going to win the title back. So I just wonder, like, where do they go from there?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I don't think that JD will have much to do with that. I mean, he had nothing to do with anything that he's been doing. If anything, it was Finn that was more involved in the JD saga.
Oh yeah.
So, but I just don't want to see the end of Dom and Rhea yet.
What if Dom takes down Gunther?
Okay. You no, stop it.
Nonsense. Yeah. No, in all seriousness though, but I don't know where you go from this because I kind of want to see Trick Williams as North American champion. Mm-hmm. Not because I don't want to see Dom with it, but Trick Williams, if anyone's been watching NXT, he's been really gaining ground and establishing himself aside from Trick Mello Gang.
Mm-hmm.
And as we've said on the show, sometimes you need a title to boost you up a little bit and legitimize you. That's what this is doing. You give him one or two feuds with the title and then he loses it with the third one. I'm fine with that. You know, I would rather see that than it be a hot potato between Trick and Dom only for Dom to just carry around the title because Judgment Day has the gold. Not
Yeah.
because Dom earned it.
It would be interesting to see Dom go down the Christian path of always being like, one more match. Like, give me one more match. Like, one more match. Like, he just keeps demanding it until, whatever. But
Mommy, I want one more match.
yeah, I don't know where they go from here. I don't know. But this segment didn't stop because Jey Uso interrupted and got his flirt on with Rhea. He welcomes Rhea back and said everybody, and he means everybody, missed her. And he said, it looks like we have a new tribal chief on Monday Night Raw, and said that she has bigger balls than Roman Reigns ever did. And it was like, whoa.
That was a warning. That was a warning shot.
Yeah, I was like, oh, Jay, you're a married man, but that's okay. So
it's my work flirt.
Damian steps up to him and wants to fight him, even though he's not medically cleared. But Dom is like, wait a second, brother. And he gets all pissed. And I was like, oh, man. So Dominic is like, I'll take care of it. But Jay super kicks him. Then JD McDonough comes out of nowhere and they start going after him. And then they try to get the briefcase from Damian, and then here comes Cody Rhodes, and I'm just like, okay. I have so much to say about this. And then because they're going at it, Adam Pearce is like, oh, hey, I'm going to do the whole Teddy Long impersonation. I'm going to make a tag match. And this time is going to be at Fastlane. We're going to have Cody and Jay versus the Judgment Day. And I was like, at least this is a different variation than what we've seen. Like, I would have wanted to walk outside of the 10th story window if it was KO and Sammy versus the Judgment Day.
I would have lost it.
But like,
so bored.
To me, like, could this be a good match? Of course it could be a good match, right? But my issue,
be a good match, but
my issue is, to me, this is and I know you don't feel that way, but it's like, to me, it's the epitome of they have no idea what to do with Cody long term. They don't have plans for Jay. Basically, it was like, let's move him to Raw, but we don't really know what we want to do with him after that. And it feels like they don't know what to do with Judgment Day either. And that's why they just keep doing these same things over and over and over again. And it's like, I'm not into it. Like, I'm not invested in Jay at all right now, because it's just like, it's not interesting right now. Like, it's the same thing every single week. You're getting into it Judgment Day. Cody comes to save you, or it's KO and Sammy coming to save you. You're having trust issues. Like, I'm just not into it. I'm not into it at all. And I'm bummed that this is what Cody's doing right now. Like, why is he going for a tag title?
It has nothing to do with him going for the tag. I see the bigger picture. Oh, hello, come here.
The bigger picture is next month for Survivor Series. That's not long term.
No, I'm not even going there. I'm looking kind of farther in advance with why the hell are Jay and Cody aligning? What does this mean for the Bloodline story? Because that's what is there at the end of the day, is that the Bloodline story is still going on. You just have different branches going off the same tree. So you have on one branch Jey Uso and his, we'll say, road to apologies and trying to amend what he did when he was in the Bloodline. On the other side of the tree, you have Jimmy and Solo and them trying to continue the life of the Bloodline after its demise, essentially. There's got to be a culmination of that story, and we know it's coming. So in the back of my mind, I have that ingrained. So we have moments like this, match like this, where it's like, okay, clearly they're not going to win. Okay, Cody and Jay are not.
I don't think that's clear.
You don't think that's clear?
No.
Really?
Oh my God, Remy.
Really?
Just because I feel like you have to think about it from this way, right? Dominic just lost the title. Rhea's pissed. Okay, Damien was just like, well, we still have our titles. Okay, well, would it be surprising that 5 days later they lost them? Then putting the titles on like an odd pairing, like Cody and Jay, who don't really want to be tag teaming, but they have to because they just got put in this match. Like that, I'm just saying, like, that could be an interesting storyline because who doesn't love the odd couple as the tag team champions? How many times has WWE done that?
I love it.
And
It's my favorite thing they do. I love
taking
it.
the tag titles off of Judgment Day creates a whole bunch of new drama. So that's what I mean. Like, I don't think that it's necessarily clear or like 100% solid that they're going to win because WWE has done dumber things. So, like, especially when it involves Cody and Jay, the top like two baby faces on Raw right now, I really would not be surprised if this is the way they go. And I mean,
Oh,
it's
it's making
further
sense.
involvement into the bloodline for Cody. You know, I don't know.
And if they win, they could still feud with Judgment Day because they have their titles and they can feud.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I see that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so in the mindset of this is just a side quest to compare it to video games. It's
Mm-hmm.
just a side quest that they're doing before they get into the main story again with War Games or Royal Rumble. And honestly, I want to see what main event Jey Uso are. Main event Jey Uso, Jimmy, and Solo are. Oh Jesus,
She's
you're
tangled.
getting crushed.
She was trying to decapitate me on camera. Oh my
She's
god.
turning heel. She's turning heel
Yeah.
on you.
Yeah.
It's all about that in my eyes, and I want to see them, grow and have their own little character arc outside the bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
It's because of that mindset I am taking everything with a grain of salt, but you do bring up some valid points about it is getting a little stale. It's the same thing week in and week out, which that's what, wrestling is. I mean, I because I've been going back on Peacock and rewatching the Attitude Era and DX and the McMahon's, that it's not that. I'm not comparing it to that, but there needs to be an A story. There always needs to be an A story on the show. And right now, the Judgment Day, Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes, you need to have Cody Rhodes in the A story and have him be the Mister Superhero babyface. And if it has him just going along from storyline to storyline with no real substance, that's where he is right now because he did come off that hot feud with Roman, then Brock. So cool down a
But
little bit and do.
it's been like 2 months though. So that's the thing
It,
that's like, I don't know. I'm just like, I think that I'm a little bit disappointed with how they've done the bloodline stuff over the last 2 months with Roman gone, and I think that him leaving and taking these 2 months off really screwed them over.
that's the issue at hand. That's
Yeah,
the issue at hand.
and I think that's why the bloodline stuff has gotten stale because it's like it was like week after week after week. It was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. What is going to happen next week? And then Roman's like, deuces, baby, and is gone for 2 months. And then it's like, okay, like there's only so much that they can do to kind of make you forget that he's not around, you know? And I think that it's a shame that they didn't kind of like try and fill that void by just putting the Judgment Day like
Mm-hmm.
at the forefront and like not necessarily in front of the bloodline, but like go full throttle with the Judgment Day so that people are looking forward to something instead of seeing the same thing every single week. Like that's why people are getting sick of it, you know? And it's unfortunate because I feel like they could have taken advantage of these last 2 months a lot better and they just didn't. So but at least I guess we get Roman back next week. I mean,
Thank God.
but who knows like how long he's going to be around. He's only booked for one SmackDown or two or something. It's like a SmackDown on like house shows. And I'm like, you can't just like show up and do a backstage segment or maybe an in-ring segment and leave again. Like this is so fucking stupid at this point. Like
When you're undisputed world heavyweight universal
yeah.
XYZ champion, you can do whatever you want apparently.
It's just frustrating though because like he has to see that the storyline is suffering without him being there. Like I don't know.
Now, if he was there, who would he be going up against? Maybe that's another issue.
I'm not even saying that he has to be going up against somebody. You could be doing stuff in the bloodline. Like, at least we would have some sort of dynamic established between him and Jimmy, and what's going on. Well, how does he feel about Jay? What's going on with him and Paul? What about Solo? Like, there would just be so many things. What about him and AJ Styles? How would he be feeling about John Cena?
That's where my mind goes. I
That's what
want him to feud with AJ Styles.
Well, I just mean, like, he doesn't have to, is all I'm saying. Like, if he was just around and still having the, Jimmy and Solo or whatever, or even Paul doing his dirty work, at least he's there still being the tribal chief that we've seen, like, it's just being off TV and doing nothing. It's where it's like,
I agree. Let's get some comments here.
Okay.
We have the Davids.
What is
D Square here. Mr. Anderson.
Anderson.
He has a lot of comments. I showed one already, but he has a lot of good ones here.
Okay.
Starting off with this first one. I mean, she's ruining the women's division again. We stand for those comments. Oh, you didn't fall asleep at all? Lucky you.
I didn't either, but I also watched it from 5 to 8. So
yeah, that's what I was saying. You got the prime time and viewing there.
I do sometimes miss like being able to watch it at like 8, because I don't know. There's just something about like being able to watch it at night. I don't know. But also the thing is like it doesn't even get dark here until like 7 or 8. So
that is weird watching Raw in the light.
Yeah,
very summery.
Yeah, it's weird.
And he has another great comment here. Example, couples Kane and Daniel Bryan. I wouldn't say like a Dr. Shelby, but if you want to go a type of person like that, like a middleman, I'm for that. I'm
not into it.
That.
I just wouldn't want them to be tag teaming for that long.
I don't want it to be like a therapeutic thing, like couples therapy, but I do think a middleman who kind of plays both sides and is like a little in the ear of both of them to stir the pot, that potentially could be interesting. I'm just, for the first time in a long time, anything with the bloodline, I don't want to predict it. I don't
think you can at this point, because it's boring.
It is kind of stale. It is getting a little boring.
And it's unfortunate.
And then 2 months off, making Seth look like an A champ, Roman to be a B champ. Maybe that was the intent.
It kind of was. I mean, that's the thing. It's like they accomplished what they wanted. They wanted to make the world heavyweight title feel equal to the undisputed title and not feel like, the what is it? The
undisputed.
The prize, the consolation
prize, yes.
Because that's how a lot of people were feeling. I think that it's been built up well, but I do think that other than the storyline, especially between Seth and Nakamura and Seth and Finn, attributing to that, I do think that Roman being gone, it's like, you kind of forget that there actually are two main titles in WWE right now.
Yeah, you forgot that.
Mm-hmm. All right, so then we see Alpha Academy versus Imperium. So it wasn't.
What do we think?
It wasn't a very long match, which is fine. I still got to see my boys, and they were in maroon, and just like I saved a picture, a screenshot. I was like, "Of course you did." Baby.
I'm not even shocked. Shocked.
And they're still really trying to sell that there's tension between Kaiser and Vinci, because there was just like random moments of aggression between them during the match, like Kaiser wanting to like tag himself in, just like slapping Vinci, like, I'm getting in. And then of course, like we always know, Kaiser gets the win.
Well, why is Vinci gonna get the pin? Like why would he do that, Sarah?
I feel like I can't talk about this every week, but like I just don't get it. I just don't understand. Someone on Twitter said to me, well, that's going to be part of like Vinci's storyline, is that he never gets the win and it's all about Kaiser or whatever. He's going to leave Imperium. I'm like, no. Because also, like we said, they took him out of like his solo thing that he was doing in NXT and put him back in Imperium. And I'm like, that's great. I love Imperium, obviously. I love the three of them. But I feel like, what was the point of putting Vinci back in if this is what you were going to do? Like, make him feel inferior. Like, I don't get it. Like, you put him back in it for a reason, but then you've had him do nothing. I don't get it. But at least they got the win. I guess I'm supposed to be happy about that.
You are. That's what the WWE wants you to be, is happy that they won and not think about Vinci not getting the pin.
I don't have short-term memory though. That's the problem.
That's the issue. They want you to have short-term memory too.
I know,
so
but then they're gonna have to bop me on the head and knock me out. Okay,
you're gonna have to take a bump. You're gonna have to take a bump.
Apparently, because I ain't forgetting. Okay, my man Vinci deserves better.
Oh, apparently not, Mr. Anderson.
No.
I don't agree with that. I want them to be tag champs.
So do I.
Give them tag team.
See, the thing is, though, we have to remember, okay, sending him back to NXT, it's like not a punishment, but to me, it's like, when you're somebody who's already established themselves on the main roster, if you get moved back down to NXT, it's kind of like because you need a revamp. Because they've done everything that they could. Like, there's a reason why Baron Corbin was down there and why Baron Corbin is hot right now. You know, I mean, he just came out on a fucking motorcycle at No Mercy and beat Braun Breaker. Yeah. You know,
I have an issue with that motorcycle spot, by the way.
It's fine. But I'm just saying, like, the type of momentum that he has right now, that was the whole point. And now whether or not it's going to transfer over to the main roster, we'll have to see. But it was like, because he was becoming so boring and so just like dead in the water on the main roster, that they did that. But I think the problem is with Vinci is that the reason why he's not successful is not because he's incapable. It's because of how they're booking him. They're literally choosing him to be the one that doesn't win. They're choosing for Kaiser to get, a bigger push than him. So to me, it would be kind of unfair to put him back down in NXT, but
1,000%. I agree with that fully.
Then we have Drew McIntyre. We saw they were promoting that he was going to be on Miz TV again.
I was confused about this. I don't want to cut you. I don't mean to cut you off, but I was confused that they were teasing this again.
Well, they said it was because of how it ended, and Miz was like offended and wanted him to like explain himself for like what he did. So I was like, okay. That's fine, because then it's like McIntyre was like, no. So he told Pierce like, I'm not doing it. So instead, he came out to the ring and was talking to all of his fans, and that's why he was like, I don't answer to anyone except for my fans. And I was like, hello. And he said he doesn't owe anyone anything in the locker room. He said he is going to be sticking to his own business now because he was getting too involved and trying to help other people in their own drama. But he's just going to stick with, whatever he wants to do. That's kind of why he didn't do anything last week when we saw Ivar beating up the New Day and whatever, and he was just like, I don't care. And so he says, I'm not going to be like Cody, who's continuously cleaning up his own mess. Like, I don't care. And he says forgiving Jay is a weakness. And I was like, we see each other is what I was saying to Drew. I was like, we see each other. So the Miz ends up coming out because he's just like, what is going on? You were supposed to be on Miz TV.
Up, Miz.
So they just go back and forth, and basically all I got from this was just, that Drew said, shut up, Miz. And the Miz was just trying to have Drew go full-blown bad guy, which I wasn't that mad about, actually. I didn't think it was a bad suggestion, honestly. But Drew didn't like it. Drew says, I'm going to do what I want to do, and that's not what I want to do right now. He said, he was like, I'm old school. Like, I just rack up the wins, and that's how I get my title shot. I'm not going to, like, take someone out to, go ahead of them or whatever. And I was like, but that's what bad guys do. And he then challenges Miz to a match, and then Miz is like, neither of us are dressed for a match. You're in a skirt. And I was like, stop it, Miz. Because I like
Just
said
takes
that,
the skirt off and is just ready to go.
put that back on. Don't take it off. Don't take off your skirt. So obviously Drew's like, nah. And so Miz leaves, but then he sneak attacks him, and then we see Drew McIntyre versus the Miz, which obviously ends quickly, just gets the job done. Drew does what he wants to do, and this is when I was like, this is the Drew McIntyre that I need. Okay, he gets on the mic and he said, you know what, I've been thinking long and hard, and I have come to the conclusion that I am not the same man that I was 30 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Okay, I am sorry for my actions, and with how things go now, I am magically forgiven. Yay! And I was like, Drew is me. This is how I am. If you cross me, I don't just automatically forgive you. You know what I mean? Like, it's different if someone kind of like fibs and you're just like, all right, it's fine. But like when in Drew's case, right? Like he lost a title match because of interferences. Like, it wasn't because of anything that he did, because he just succumbed to Roman Reigns on his
he
own.
lost. Yeah.
So I am so here for this dynamic, because I think nobody else, I mean, Kevin kind of conveyed this a little bit, but like not to the same extent that Drew has. So I relate to Drew so much, because I'm like, this is what we need. This is what we need from Drew.
Doesn't it seem like it's setting up for a Cody Rhodes Drew McIntyre feud?
I would love that, honestly. I want it. And I feel like that would be the perfect way to get Drew to go full-blown bad guy. Because who better to go against than the top babyface right now? Like, he literally can't do anything wrong. He's coming out, we'll talk about it. He's so over, he keeps doing entrance ramp interviews just so that he can have his music play in pyro. Like,
Wow!
like if fans are at a point where that's good enough for them and that they're not going to demand refunds because they didn't see Cody, then that tells you like how over he is. Like, he's invincible right now. So for Drew to do that, I'm here for it.
I have a feeling that Drew interferes in the Cody Rhodes Jay tag team title match.
He alluded to that, remember? He said, what do you think I'm going to do? Like, cost Jay the match at Fastlane? Like, no, I'm not going to do that. And I'm like, no, but you have to.
You're so doing it.
Because it's not only screwing over Jay, it's screwing Cody.
Yeah. It's screwing Cody at the end of the day, which is what you want to do. What did Miz say? What was that line? He said, I don't. Oh, if you remember, it was one of the funniest lines Miz said.
I don't remember.
It ended with, oh, fuck. I'm getting so mad that I can't think of this right now.
I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
It was like, something up, I grow up, and when I see you, you make me throw up. Blah! And he actually did the blah thing. I was dying about that.
He is so crazy, man.
Oh, I love the Miz. He is such a fantastic heel.
Anyway, oh my gosh, I know if Drew goes heel,
I dream broken dreams.
Yeah, I think that his current one is a little too uppity. Like, it has no words, but it feels more of like something of
like a like it's like a hero.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That it's like too uppity. Like, it's too
hero to come save the day.
Yeah, I feel like he would have to go to something like that. Oh my god, I would die.
That would be nice.
Yeah, me dying would be nice.
No, him bringing it back. I would be
joking.
I'm playing along here.
All right. Well, let's move on to Gunther and Tommaso Ciampa having a contract signing. So we see both of them, and Gunther comes out looking dapper, or should I say dashing. And Ciampa had a good promo, I would say. Right away.
One of his best. I really liked this. There was a lot of emotion behind it.
Yes.
Really got behind Ciampa, and I would say this is a promo that launched him back into some sort of title picture.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing that I think that's good when they can actually dig into their real life, you know, and when you're a seasoned veteran like he is, obviously, being able to just talk about being the underdog and being able to sell the emotional aspect of that, because obviously you're talking about your real life experience. I feel like that's what makes these moments so good. And that's what Ciampa did. Just talking about he's been the underdog. Has had to work harder than everybody else to get opportunities, whereas Gunther has just had everything handed to him on a silver platter, which I was like, I understand what you're saying, but that ain't true either. Okay. Man had to lose 40, 50 pounds in order to be where he's at. So I don't think
and a name change. Kind of had to change his name.
And I don't even think it's like, I'm not saying that, that's more difficult than what Ciampa's had to do, but I'm like, 50 pounds ain't easy to lose when you've been a bigger dude like most of your life.
Yeah, I'm at 10. I've lost like 10 in 3 months. I mean, and this man's grinding. I don't know. Sorry.
So Gunther was just sitting there so arrogantly listening to him and smirking. Awesome. And I was like, Gunther was sitting there so arrogantly and smirking like the king that he is.
Like the king he is. He is. He's the ring general.
I loved this though, because I feel like usually you don't really see him react that much to what someone is saying, especially when they're like trying to sell themselves, and that's what I think most of the time you get that arrogance from Gunther when he's talking about himself and like his accomplishments in Imperium and like the importance of wrestling. Like you don't really get him sitting there just like kind of like laughing at somebody like spilling their emotions, so I really liked that. Ciampa then goes into about how he's been dreaming about this match since he was 5 years old and he only needs one chance to get the title. So this was supposed to be a contract signing for Fastlane, but because Gunther would not sign the contract, he then continuing to insult Ciampa for his clothing choices and said that Ciampa needs to prove it. He challenged him to a match on Raw, signed the contract, and Adam Pearce then made it the main event for Raw. So my main question from this is, we've just talked about this a week ago, but now that we know, we'll talk about what happens in the match. But before that, what was your reaction to them changing it from Fastlane to Raw?
Why are we having a contract signing? That was my reaction. I just was so... I understand the whole contract signing thing in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that when you have a contract signing, it should be leading up to a big pay-per-view match.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we having a contract signing and then being like, oh, curveball, it's going to be on Raw? Now, what they should have done then, what they should have done is they should have said, fuck the contract signing. And they shouldn't even have had it. There should have been some sort of backstage thing or meeting in Adam Pearce's office where you have Gunther and Ciampa, or even Gunther and Imperium and Ciampa, getting just hot and bothered, just getting really annoyed about whatever. Mm-hmm. And Ciampa being like, screw this, you're toying me around, you don't want to defend that title, so I think you should defend it tonight. Trying to play off, and Adam Pearce being like, that's a great idea, and let's make it official. And that's the case. Do the whole contract signing thing and then just have it be the main event. It just seemed lazy.
Well, initially I was bummed about it because this is now the second pay-per-view that doesn't have the Intercontinental title on it in a row. And I feel like it's making it not seem as important because you keep cutting that match and just having him defend it on Raw. And it's like, I understand, they were saying that Triple H is trying to be better about like how many matches are on a pay-per-view because they don't want to overbook them so that they have less time, blah, blah, blah. But like the Intercontinental title is arguably the most prestigious title in the company right now. And you keep cutting it. And instead you put like, they very easily could have had Cody and Jay versus Judgment Day on Raw. Why not just have that on next week's Raw?
Because you need Cody Rhodes Cody Rhodes at Fastlane.
But there could have been some other way. I just mean like maybe that was when they made the title match. You know what I mean? Maybe they had a segment and then that led to it, because I felt like they should have had Gunther on the. Are you actually listening?
I am. No, I am listening. Yes.
Okay.
No,
I
because
think that they should have had Gunther on Fastlane. Stop having him defend the title on Raw. Like,
yeah, and because I was listening, there's a comment here that says Fastlane has Ray on it. I think that's why Gunther was taken off. And to go to your point,
but he's not defending the United States title. So
that was my question I was going to ask you from that is, couldn't we, we have this comment too, maybe we're getting a DIY Imperium.
But even then, that's a Raw match. It's not for titles.
It is, yeah.
I understand like the hype around DIY. We're going to talk about it, obviously, but I just mean like it, to me, it just doesn't make any sense. I understand in a way I'm biased, and so maybe people don't want to take it seriously what I have to say about Gunther, but like I just feel that there's no reason for his matches to continuously be taken off the pay-per-view when there are other matches that don't need to be on the card. So
I agree with that 1,000%. I want to see Gunther on a pay-per-view defending his title in a 25-minute plus match where it's just hard-hitting action and it's an opponent with substance. The only person I could say that should be fighting Gunther at Fastlane would have been Chad Gable, but you did that match on Raw. So,
well, they should have done the Ciampa match on Fastlane, though. That's what I'm saying. That's my whole point, is that they shouldn't have had it on Raw. They could have had the exact same match at Fastlane. Like, that was the whole point of the contract signing. That was what it was supposed to be. So I just don't really understand, because this has been something they've been working towards for weeks. So it's not like this just came together and then they were like, oh shit, now we have to take it off the show. No, you should have been calculating that in, because even if we want to say another argument, like for the LWO Street Profits match, why is that on there? That's not for anything either. So that's what I'm saying. Like, there's other matches that don't have to be on there because they're not as important as other things. And when you don't have the undisputed WWE Universal Champion, then you should be having at least a title like the Intercontinental title being defended on a pay-per-view instead. You know? Yeah. That's my whole argument. It's just like, I just don't get it. I don't understand. We're supposed to think that he's like this amazing champion, and then you're having him defend it on Raw.
Yeah, like, I concur.
All right.
I do agree.
All right. Then we move on to Ivar versus Xavier Woods.
Now this is a pay-per-view match.
Yeah, that was good. But we also have to mention too, they said that Eric apparently is going to be out indefinitely. So don't know what's going on with him. But also Valhalla wasn't there last night, so I don't know what's going on with her. But they did say on commentary apparently that Eric will be out indefinitely. So cool for them to keep having Ivar on, though, because a lot of the time when you're in a tag team and your tag team partner is out, you get cut, especially when you're not like a top tag team. You know, the Viking Raiders are not that. So that's cool to see that they're still like, no, we're going to put him on TV, because he's been on TV for the last like 3 weeks straight doing singles matches. A lot of
TV time.
Yeah. So this was a great match. I have nothing bad to say about it, obviously, because even if I don't like the Viking Raiders gimmick, I love them as wrestlers. So especially Ivar specifically.
Oh my God. How can you not?
Woods wins the match, which I was just like, all right, whatever. But Ivar
classic
is like,
baby
you know
face
what?
Winning a match. Fuck you.
I know.
That's your logic. Fuck you, baby faces.
Yeah, I hate it. But Ivar goes into full attack mode, and he stacks Kofi and Xavier Woods on top of each other. And then I'm watching with my nephew because he loves the Viking Raiders. Okay. And then I was like telling him, I was like, watch, buddy, watch. He's gonna do something really cool. And of course, we see him do the moonsault on top of the pile of New Day. And I was like, this is a big, meaty man moonsault. Okay. That was fantastic.
Big, meaty man slapping meat.
Loved it. It was great. And then we also get the announcement that we are going to see Ivar versus Kofi next week on Raw in a Viking rules match.
Now, Sarah, we know what that is. We've
I
seen
know.
it.
We
be
now
done.
know what. Yeah. So this is what's cool. I think, like, there's not a lot of people that are behind the Viking Raiders. It's not like you see people in the crowd wearing like a Viking Raider t-shirt or with a sign. But I do think it's cool that they're still having him on, despite the fact that he's solo. And the fact that they're letting him do shit like that. Like, yeah, stack up the New Day. Let him do a moonsault on top of them. That had to have hurt, dude. Oh my God. Poor Kofi. Poor Kofi.
God.
Man.
I'm just like, that hurts my stomach, like rib area, just thinking about a man of that stature just belly flopping on me like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's brutal. But it's nice. It's nice to see them get TV time and actually be part of the. It is nice.
Yeah, and they're actually like continuing that feud instead of just like deciding that it's over and that they don't care anymore. Yeah. So that is cool. Do we have any comments or should I just move on?
Well, we have the Kingdom of Razors here.
Hello. Hello.
He doesn't know why YouTube did not know that.
I've heard about that too, and I don't get it either.
I don't know why. From the champ. They don't want to hear from the champ. They're scared of the champ of the peeps.
They hate us because they ain't us.
Talking about heels, we're the heels.
Yeah.
We're so heels.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you more likely. I'm too.
No, I even said it to my sister last night. I was like, "Oh my God, I don't understand why I don't like basically any baby faces just right now. I mean, I do, but I don't. But I'm just like ugh about them most of the time right now. I'm just like, ugh. Other than like Cody. I think Cody and like LA Knight, I think, and Cena. But like I said, Cena can't do anything wrong. I don't care.
Neither can Cody, really.
But he's not at the same level of Cena to me. I mean, me and Cena go back 20 years, brother. Come on now.
That's true.
So
that is true. That's like you and Cena, me and Dwayne.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Dickie saying Ivar's getting over with that backwards. I mean, how could you not?
I know.
It's a 300-pound plus man doing a moonsault.
I know.
Are you kidding me? That's incredible.
That's like I said, like I'm not like a fan of the Viking Raiders per se, but I can't say anything bad about Ivar. Like I want to see, like I was excited to see that,
and we went, this is what I was going to say. I remembered it. We went from saying, who cares about the Viking Raiders?
Yeah, I actually have a video titled that, I think
we do. It's in the archives. Go check it out. So we have a video saying that. And now we've came full circle and being like, everyone should love the Viking Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, I don't support their gimmick, but like I support watching them wrestle. I mean,
when you're talented, we push you on this show.
Yeah.
Was there another one? I did want to get to this one. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Dickie said this. Valhalla and Eric are a real life couple. Maybe she's home with him. Maybe. Sarah Logan.
Are they really a couple in real life? Is she the one that is he the one that she had a baby with?
They had a baby, Valhalla.
Well, she had a baby. That was originally why she was gone for a while. And then, like they never brought her back as Sarah Logan. Dude, I didn't know that.
Sarah
Interesting.
Logan,
I wonder if it's an injury, if it's COVID related. I wonder what it is, because the fact that they didn't tell us what it is makes me feel like it's an illness more so than an injury.
They had like a whole Viking wedding.
Oh, okay. So it is him. Okay, interesting.
That's so cute. I love when real life blends over into your gimmick. It's nice. It's nice. All right. So.
All right. I was waiting. I just wasn't going to say it this time. All right. So we had Michael Cole welcome Seth freaking Rollins to the ring. And, it is what it is. I guess it's the same thing that we've been seeing from Seth for the last several weeks, where he's in the ring talking. But this time we had a special guest, and that was Michael Cole. So Cole just goes on about how, I've known you for a really long time. I've been calling your matches for years. I've even given you some of your most iconic nicknames, like the Visionary, and what else did he say?
the visionary, the
architect, whatever. And he's like, even the
manipulator.
manipulator, and he's like, and the puppeteer. But he's like, but now you're looking more like a puppet. And I was like,
Michael
oh,
Cole got feisty.
yeah,
Michael
he
Cole did
did.
get feisty in
Yeah,
this
he
little
really did.
exchange.
And he said he doesn't understand why Seth is going through with this match. It's a last man standing match versus Nakamura at Fastlane. And knowing how hurt he is and the stakes involved, he's just like, I don't get it. Like, what are you doing? You don't need to be doing this. And Seth
Mm-hmm.
says he can't really put it into words why he's doing it. But then as he's trying to make a point, he asks Cole, like, how long have you been doing commentary? He says 26 years. And he said, how many shows have you missed? And he said 2. And I was like, you know what's crazy about that is thinking when they had Cole on like every show. It's even crazier to me because now he, I think he does Raw. He's doing Raw and SmackDown again right now.
Yeah, he does
but
both.
There were years where there wasn't set rosters, there weren't set commentary teams other than it was like Cole and JR and King. Like, it's crazy to think that in that long he's only missed it twice. And
I want to know what he's missed it for, and not in like the what did you miss it for.
Yeah,
I'm just curious what took precedent.
Yeah, yeah. Like, what if it's only 2 times in that long? It had to have been like, did your kid get married? Did your dad die? Like, what was it?
Yeah.
So Seth then takes that and equates it to like, okay, well, that proves that you're really dedicated. Like, you need this, you love this, you're addicted to it. And he said, that's exactly how I feel. And that's why I'm having this match. And he says, that's just how I feel about wrestling. And he says he has a lot of responsibility as a champion. And if this is his last ride, then so be it. Then we get Nakamura on the screen. And it was like, oh, okay, Nakamura back speaking some Japanese, talking some shit to Seth Rollins through the screen. And out of nowhere, he decides, nope, I'm not on the screen. And he sneak attacks Seth, hits him with a Kinshasa. And then on the screen, Nakamura starts counting to 10, which I was like, I love this. I love this planning.
Good. So good.
Seth gets up at about like 7, I think, when he hits 7. So Nakamura then hits him with chairs over and over, hits him with another Kinshasa. Then he sits in one of the chairs, counts to 10, and then celebrates with the championship and stands over Seth, who is passed out on the floor in the middle of the ring. And I was just like, if Nakamura does not win at Fastlane, I feel like I would be a little disappointed. And that is coming from someone who Seth Rollins will probably go down as one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Okay. But I really feel like you cannot not give the title to Nakamura at this point. Like, I feel like it would just be such a mistake.
It would be such a mistake. He's doing some of his best work in the company right now. This villain role he's taken on and how he's doing it, it's so good. It's so dark, and
it's a really difficult spot to be in because that they're purposely not having Seth wrestle. So it makes it a lot more difficult, I feel like, for him, because he can't interfere in a match. He can't have like a match between the last pay-per-view and this one. Like, there's a lot. It's a lot of doing the same thing every week.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
He's making it worthy of being watched.
No, absolutely.
So I hope that that's the case. I hope that we see Nakamura win, because I feel like, I still feel like it was a mistake that they didn't put the title on Finn at SummerSlam, just given the history between them. But I feel like there's not a lot of space for Nakamura to get bigger than where he is right now in a feud with Rollins. So if they don't give him the title right now, then I don't know what else there is between the two of them. You know what I mean?
And I don't know what are they doing about his back. I'm thinking about this at this point. Really, from the outside, like, if he's really this hurt, this is the end. Okay, they're teasing it too much. He's got to go away for a little bit, and if he goes away for a little bit, his chance are only going to get stronger when he comes back. So it all works out.
Yeah, I want to see it happen, but I just don't know that they'll do it because I feel like, I felt like the opportunity was there with Finn and they didn't do it. So, I don't know that I have a lot of confidence that they'll actually pull it off. You know what I mean? And that just kind of concerns me for what's next for Nakamura, because
If he
I don't
doesn't
want
win,
them to
yeah.
just completely abandon this,
Yeah, there's no reason. Yeah, I agree.
So that
I
would
agree
be a
with that.
shame.
Agree with that. Comments?
Sure.
Yeah, we got King Razor. I got it. You have a question here. Who's your favorite current favorite female wrestler? I would probably say either Kiana James. Love me some Kiana James. Roxanne Perez too. And then for a main roster person, uh, I love Bailey. I think Bailey's so good. I think she's one of the most underrated people in the Four Horsewomen, and I've always been a big fan of Becky Lynch. I thought she was the best out of the Four Horsewomen. So those are my answers.
Becky and Rhea. And Tiffany Stratton won me over at No Mercy. So I'm a
Tiff.
I'm a big fan of Tiffy right now.
I
So
love Tiff.
yeah, no, I it's one of those things too that I was not happy that they had Becky win, and Becky's one of my all-time favorites, but like my initial reaction, and I'm still kind of confused, and we'll have to see what happens on NXT, but I didn't know if it was the right move to have Becky retain because of what that would mean for Tiffany, but I think that she more than proved herself in that match, because I think the biggest thing is people didn't take her seriously, obviously, because she kind of does have the Barbie gimmick, and so it's like, yeah, she can't get down and dirty and like do these types of matches, but no, she did. She got bloodied in the first few minutes of the match, and she continued going on, and she did all sorts of spots on chairs and everything. So I'm like, if someone had an issue with her and not took her seriously, she just did that with Becky Lynch twice in 2 really great matches. So shout out Tiffany.
We got
shout out Ludwig Kaiser for helping too.
True. A little Imperium help there.
Yeah.
We do have Lyra Valkyrie in the ring right now with Becky Lynch, so that could be something. I do want to get to this one from Dickie.
I do like Blair Davenport also.
You text me about her.
Yeah.
Do y'all think Cole saying Seth is a puppet is a nod to CM Punk, thus WWE teasing his return, or is that a stretch? I don't think it's a stretch, but that's just Twitter going crazy.
I think a lot of that is wishful thinking from fans because he was fired from AEW, so he's a free agent, and so people still want to see that happen. I think it then got like exploded more once Edge went to AEW. So now it's like people think that the way for WWE to get equal was to be signing CM Punk, which makes no fucking sense because he was a product of WWE before he went to AEW anyway. But I think that people forget about like all of the issues that he created behind the scenes during WWE, like with Triple H too. So, like, now that Triple H is the guy in charge, not to mention he walked out before his contract was up. He tried to sue their doctor. Like, there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that I'm just not sure that WWE is willing to forgive that. Not to mention he's coming off of, like, a very tumultuous time in AEW. And I don't know that they'll want to, like, get their hands in that,
I agree. I don't think it was a nod. Wishful thinking is a good way to phrase it. I'm an agent of chaos, and him somehow being in WWE would definitely be chaotic. And then I'll get to this. Nathaniel's asked us like 5 times.
All right.
I was going to address it on Thursday's episode because that's where we talk all things wrestling. But short answer, yes. Short answer is yes. I am happy.
I feel like I should wait until Thursday to put my full thoughts. My main answer would be I don't really care. I think it's more about how he went about going to AEW that I have a tremendous issue with. and I'll probably go into details about
We'll
that.
do
like,
that on Thursday.
yeah,
I want you to explain it, but
yeah.
we're
I mean, for the main thing, I was never a big fan of Edge, so I don't really care where he is. I just, like I said, I just think it's the way that it came about that I have the issue with. So,
agreed. All right, what we got? What is up next?
Then we have Cody Rhodes gets another entrance ramp interview.
Well, of course he does.
So,
Cody fucking Rhodes.
But what's funny, right, is when he first came out at the beginning of the show, he was dressed in his gear. Then he has an interview and he's in his suit, and I'm like, okay.
I love it. It was a post-game press conference.
It was weird. So
it was a post-game press conference.
This just goes into like what I said earlier. I just feel like they just don't know how to use Cody, and it's just very confusing at this point. But you know, they got him in a suit, had his music play, had his pyro, so they could pander to the crowd. That's what they want. I think that's the main takeaway that I got away from this, other than him just being like, oh yeah, like, okay, me and Jay will be partners and go for the tag titles. Okay. Like, that's it, basically. And we see Jay kind of reply, I guess, in a way. This is the thing that I took away from Jay. Okay, the main thing, other than him just saying, you know, like him and Cody, like they're not friends, but like they're good, like they're cool. So, you know, he doesn't know where this is going to go or how to feel about it necessarily. But him and Cody, you know, they're going to tag team and go for the titles. But the first thing that he says is something that confirmed my suspicions, is when he said that he thought that coming to Raw would wipe the slate clean for him. And my main thing when he said that, I think I even said it out loud, is like, that's not how life works. Like, that's not how life works. Like, you really thought that coming to Raw after leaving the bloodline would all of a sudden have everybody that you wronged on Raw forgive you, or like not care about how you screwed them out of titles and big matches and whatever. Like, that is the problem that I've been saying since he showed back up on Raw, is that's how they've been trying to have him act. Like, oh, well, I should be magically forgiven. And that's why I loved McIntyre at the end of the match being like, I am a different man than I was 30 seconds ago. You know, I'm forgiven.
All's forgiven.
Yeah.
All's forgiven.
So that's why I like that Drew said that, because it's like, yeah, that's how they're having Jay act. And that's like weird to me, because that's not life. That's especially to the degree that he took it with the bloodline.
Yeah.
You know?
Agree.
But otherwise there wasn't a whole lot that I would say that I got out of these interviews. So let's move on to the main event.
King and Maria, the easy answer is it's Beth Phoenix is Edge's new female voice. It's his wife.
Oh, I don't know what that means.
It's in the comment. It's in the comment section. I know the answer, so I'm gonna address the peep right there.
Oh,
no, moving
on. Okay, so then we get the main event. We have Gunther versus Tommaso Ciampa for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. And this was a 25-minute match, guys. 25 minutes.
Big win.
Yeah. You know, I still don't love that it was on Raw, but it is what it is. We discussed that already. Great match. Very physical. I say this every time, but there are certain matches, especially when you're talking about a Gunther match, I just have nothing to say because it was good. It's exactly what you expected because it's Gunther. Ciampa is phenomenal. It was very physical. It just proved to me even more that he was the right person to be the next guy for Gunther.
Yes, he absolutely was. It was a good TV main event. You know, it showed that Ciampa can be a guy who can fight in the title picture. It was a good continuation from their match in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I just like seeing matches like this to main event. You know, it felt like it was a match, not just, not just some, bullshit little 10-minute with run-ins and whatnot. You know, you didn't see the other two until the end.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they got time, and there was a legitimate chance at one point that you were like, oh shit, Ciampa's gonna steal this. Like, they had everything you want out of a main event, and it made Gunther look, I would say, stronger at the end of it.
It was another match where I was just like, at the end, I'm like, how do people not like him? How are you not a fan of Gunther? How are you not a fan of Gunther? I got ripped by it the last time I made that into a
Yeah,
video
you're
though.
getting. I see. I don't get that. Of all the people that you are not a fan of, the one that gets you the most heat online is Gunther. Like,
Yeah, I
or I
got
mean, yeah,
ripped.
like, yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Like, I don't get that. Like, you,
I know. And that's the thing. I'm
whatever.
like, yeah, because people came for me when I made a video of like when I said I don't understand how you can say you're a professional wrestling fan and not at least appreciate what Gunther does. I got ripped for saying that.
Yeah,
Which I just think it's funny because I'm like, what did I say that was so controversial? But anyway,
really nothing.
yeah. So
Nothing at all.
after 20, I would say 22 minutes, 23 minutes, Gunther chokes him out, which gets him the win, which we love. And then Imperium comes in and attacks him post match as Gunther is walking to the back, which I was just like, yep, see, this is what we want. This is what.
You like that? You liked
Yeah.
him going to the back.
Yeah.
I thought it was weird.
I felt like it just played very well into like how they were originally brought in, where it was like Gunther would go and get the job done, but he would go and like have them do the dirty work, like the extra stuff that like
Okay.
he doesn't do that. You know what I mean? That's why he
Okay.
has those guys. They go and do that. And so that's why I liked it. I was like, yeah, I'm here for this, right?
Okay.
And it made more sense because then hello, Johnny Gargano was like, "Hi, I'm back."
This
And
rebel heart, this rebel heart.
his old song was so much better.
So much better.
The girl singing
So
it.
much better.
Ugh. So Gargano finally returns to save his buddy, and they fend off Imperium for the time being, at least. So, of course, this does tease the potential of a match at Fastlane. If not, at least this is going to be some sort of feud from now on, which I think is good. We said we want to see more of Imperium being in these tag team matches. I just need it to also be that they get wins sometimes. We can't just be like, oh yeah, they're going to be the ones that you keep beating Gargano and Ciampa, because otherwise I'm going to be like, nope, just break up Imperium if this is what you're going to do. Take them out, do something else. They are too good for you to have them to keep losing. But how do you feel about DIY being back?
I'm so hyped. You need a team like that in the tag division. And there's the amount of backstage content, entertaining content they're going to bring. And then it's an easy way to incorporate the way and get them into the fray.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. The only issue I had with this main event is the hard cut time. The hard
I know they
and
cut
of
it.
all things to cut to, it's a special report. So you think that like, oh shit, we have like breaking news. It's fucking Chucky.
Yeah, I know.
Like it was a one big mind fuck to me.
They were like off all night though, because did you notice too when they went to commercial after Rhea called out Judgment Day that she had already been talking before they got back to commercial?
Like I did kind of
yeah, so it was like it was off. It was really weird. But yeah, what I thought was really cool about this is Gargano's tweet that he sent out being like, I've heard you guys for the last 6 months wanting DIY reunion, blah blah blah. Like I just thought it was sweet because like, people have been saying this for so long. So it is really cool to see them back together. I just hope that they use them the right way, because they hadn't been doing that with Gargano or Ciampa really until now. So I hope that it goes differently,
Good things come to those who wait.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
There we go.
But anyway, that was Raw.
Here we go. All right. Who is this? Why am I? Oh, I'm getting my dad's text. Okay, cool. That's great. That was Raw. I think it was a pretty solid episode. There was a lot of substance there, and definitely some intriguing elements. I would say, especially when you have DIY returning, Ivar's doing moonsaults. I mean, it's a great time. All right, and excited for the week. The pay-per-view on Saturday.
I know, especially No Mercy was really good. I watched almost all of it. I think I caught like the last like few minutes of the Corbin and Breaker, but
I watched it the next day and it was It was so good. I love the title match between Ilya Dragunov and Mello. My guy won. Love it. Now I get to watch him on NXT tonight. So can't complain. Can't complain. We thank you guys for tuning into this edition of the Raw Rewind. Make sure you are subscribed, hit that subscribe button and bell notification to know when we go live or not. Apparently, Kingdom of Razor is that's an OG Pete, and he's not being notified.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know what's going on there. I'll have to talk to some peeps over at the YT. Oh, sorry.
Nasty.
I didn't like that. And in the meantime, while you subscribe, checking out all those videos in the archives, follow us on all the social media platforms at Pat_Pits on Twitter and at SMarshXO on Twitter as well. And then for the others, they're in the description below. Go find them. And NWF update, Sara. So fun fact, I have been cutting the highlights from the NWF. All right. And I think I'm going to show them on Thursday. I'm not going to go through it all and we're going to sit there and watch it like match day, but we're going to scroll through it and whatnot, fun parts, because we need to hype the peeps up for our first ever pay-per-view. All right. We're going to do a pay-per-view and I checked it out already, Sara. It's two shows, both of ours, you and I.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a combined pay-per-view. And
right.
I think we might even throw some shenanigans in there because there's some great rivalries and matchups on Shenanigan Showdown that I think need to be highlighted in the pay-per-view. So you can check all that out on Thursday for that episode. And we're going to find a way for Sara and I to commentate the pay-per-view because as much as it's fun doing commentary, you've heard me, Sara, you've tuned in. I know a lot of other peeps have as well. It would be nice to have a color person. It'd be nice to have someone to bounce things off. And especially with how the gameplay is, it's pretty good. And when my own guy is losing, we're on a losing streak, Sara.
I was dying.
Joe Man.
I know. What was that?
Ass.
Well, but also you lost to Squirtle and then Joe Man came out and talked shit. And I was laughing because Squirtle literally is my favorite Pokemon. So it was
really? Oh, that's
yeah,
funny.
I have his Funko too.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Oh, I even have 2 stuffed animals of him. I forgot too.
Oh, wow. Well, Squirtle kicked my ass.
I know. And
I was so pissed. And then the worst part is the main event of that show was Charmander and Thunder Theo or Thunder something. Why are Charmander and Squirtle not a tag team? It's nonsense. Okay. It is absolute nonsense. So go check it out. Twitch.tv/Nonsense Sports Network. I'm going live tomorrow around 5, maybe a little earlier because we got playoff baseball, but 5 o'clock for my Patriots team, the Militia. That's going to be a lot of fun. That's something. So go check that out. And all the other stuff we're doing. Sara's Musket Fire. Go check out her Patriot articles as well on Musket Fire. And yeah, that's all the promotion I got. We got NXT on. Gallus is on my screen. So might go tune into that. So hopefully you do too. And thank you for tuning in. God bless. Remember that you can do it. All you got to do is try. We will see you on Thursday. Yeah.